the JMN Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence. And you ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Beecham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet fans. Welcome to another edition of Stat Boy Sports Bar. That's me. I'm the Stat Boy. It says so my name right there. That's where it says it right there. It is March 14th, 2024. It is 7 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. That means it's time for the Sports Bar. But before I get into any of the sports news, which I do have, I've got to say something about the week I've had. This has been a long time coming. You know, this is what got me my start in podcasting and all this. So this disclaimer, this is a rant. This is a rant by me about the week I had. I promise I'll be quick about it, but to get to the news. But some stuff happened to me this week that usually has happened to a lot of people in life when it comes to your car. I am still a new car owner. So there's a lot of things that I still don't know about cars and car insurance and upkeep and everything. I am all brand new to this. I'm 46 years old. I'm brand new to this. So it's whatever. But you all remember last week, of course, I was very proud to tell my brothers and everybody on social media that I got a car. And of course, I have to pay for this car and I have to insure this car. That's what you have to do in life. I have always wanted to try the ride-sharing apps as a driver. Uber Eats and Instacart. Not necessarily Uber just yet, because I don't know if I'm quite ready enough to bring in and transport passengers. So I decided to go with Instacart. It seemed like it was the easiest thing to do. Go to a grocery store, pick up groceries, and deliver them. How hard can that be? When I signed up for Instacart, you have to go through a background check. Okay, fine, no problem. On their app, it says it typically takes 1 day. It ended up taking 7 days. In the meantime, I'm going to my normal job. I do have a regular job. And I am texting these people. You cannot call Instacart. You can't call them up and talk to them like a normal person. So I'm messaging them back and forth to say, Give it time, give it time, give it time. It's like, I'm an impatient person. I'm an impatient stat boy. Bottom line. Day 7 kicks in. I get the notification. You're okay to start Instacarting. Great. I go to bed the night before. I wake up early the next morning. And this was actually Mother's Day, on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Happy late Mother's Day if you didn't get a chance to. Now, I live in Sevier County in Sevier. I went and put gas in my car. Filled up the tank. Turn on the app. And it wanted to send me to Maryville, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes, almost to Knox County. So I start driving. Car's moving along fine. I've got my radio on. I'm keeping my speed down. I'm doing everything right. In between Maryville and Sevierville is a town called Seymour. Message pops up. Hey, there's an order here in Seymour. Go to the Kroger on Chapman Highway. Okay. Into the parking lot I go. Turn off the car. Go into the grocery store. Take care of the order. Get paid. Get back in the car. The car will not start. 9 days I've had this car. Going on 10, 11 now. Car will not turn over. Car will not start. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I have this is brand new. Now, in my car, I have roadside assistance. Push the button. Here comes the guy. Where are you safe? Yes. What's the problem? The car won't turn over. Have you tried a jump start? Yes, I did. I did find a nice passerby, and we tried to jump the car. It wouldn't turn over. Well, it seems here that this is your car, and they're doing all this stuff. I have no choice but to end my workday for Instacart after one order, and $200 later to tow the car from Seymour to Sevierville. I didn't even go to work that day. Lo and behold, I should have contacted my insurance company because I've got roadside assistance with them. Thanks for telling me. So I had to tow the car back to the dealer to get it serviced. It is currently there now. However, my insurance company has found out that I'm doing Instacart, and it's a giant red flag. Oh, we don't allow that. And they instantly canceled my policy. I'm like, who does that? What kind of a company does that? Now I'm scrambling for the day while trying to prep the show. The show is prepped. Like I said, we do have the news, and we'll get to that in just a couple more minutes. Not only do I need full coverage for my car, I also need rideshare insurance. Luckily, and this is the most ironic part, I contacted State Farm, whom I've been almost making jokes of because of Patrick Mahomes and all that stuff. So to the State Farm people, more than likely, I'm going to go with you when it comes to insurance, and I promise no more bad jokes. Let Patrick Mahomes focus on football and not State Farm commercials. And no, I'm not going to sing the jingle unless you super chat. It's as simple as that. If you want me to do the State Farm jingle, super chat to this channel right now. Anyway, long story short, the car is being fixed or looked at, and hopefully I can get the car back soon in a couple of days, and I'll get the insurance squared away, and everything will be back on track as the way it does. So as far as that rant is over, like I say, it's been such a crazy week. You know, there have been some news stories that I've missed. One being I'll talk about later in the broadcast. Let's bring in my brother, my cohort, my look at those glasses. Miss Clark's debut, yes. See, that was part of the news. But when we get to NBA, I definitely have to bring that up because I had no clue that the WNBA started today. In fact, let's make that our leadoff story. WNBA season 2024 starts. Literally, tip-off was 10 minutes ago as the Liberty and the Mystics have already started their first game of the season. The score is currently tied 13-13. The Fever and the Sun literally tip off in 20 minutes. And this is Caitlin Clark's debut with the Indiana Fever. Zach, you look excited here.
Are you kidding me? You should be excited too. Get to watch Caitlin Clark, and she's now going to be one of the league spokespersons, one of the spokesmen, or
spokesperson.
Yes. See, I'm screwing up already. It's okay. She's going to be a spokesperson for State Farm. So, it's like a win-win today for you, Mikey.
Yeah, I get State Farm insurance, and now I have Caitlin Clark as a spokesperson. There you go. And this is a weird. Disney Plus is streaming the game live. Live women's basketball on Disney Plus. Who would have ever thought that? And ESPN2 and ESPN Plus, of course. But because it's ESPN Plus, it's also Disney Plus as well. So since the WNBA season has started, of course, it goes into our rotation. It will replace the NBA Finals when that finishes up in June. So let's one last thing I forgot to talk about in my rant. I had to cash out my FanDuel winnings to possibly pay for the insurance and the car. So my FanDuel stuff is going to be put on the mend for a little bit. And there's Pop letting me know. Love you, Pop. Pop loves me very much.
Caitlin has just stepped onto the court to do her warm-ups.
Oh, she's doing warm-ups. All right, great. See, if I had known about this, I might have considered a watch-along for the show or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into the real news. Let's get into our normal everyday routine. And we start with the Wells Fargo Championship in McKinney, Texas, as Rory McIlroy wins the Wells Fargo Championship. And this story comes directly from PGA.com, and it was written by the Associated Press. And of course, this is not in Texas. This was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's a mistake there, but no worries. Rory McIlroy has a full head of steam heading into the PGA Championship. McIlroy won the Wells Fargo Championship for a record fourth time Sunday with another dominating performance at Quail Hollow, easily overcoming a two-stroke deficit to beat Xander Schauffele by 5 shots. No other player has won the event more than twice. McIlroy closed with a 6 under 65, playing the final 11 holes in 6 under even with a double bogey on the 18th hole. He finished at 17 under 267 after 4 straight rounds in the 60s and won his second straight PGA Tour event after teaming with Shane Lowry to take the Zurich Classic 2 weeks ago in New Orleans. That should give McIlroy plenty of momentum heading to Kentucky for the PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club, the site of his last major win 10 years ago. And of course, as always, the players are earning points for the FedEx Cup standings. Now, this is not, even though the next tournament is called the PGA Championship, this is not the end of the season. The end of the season, you are playing for the FedEx Cup. So this is the 106th PGA Championship. Scotty Scheffler is still in the lead, well in the lead at 39.15. Xander Schauffele is at 19.39. Wyndham Clark at 19.06. With the win, Rory McIlroy jumps into 4th place overall at 16.75. Sahith Theegala at 15.29. Byung-Hun An at 15.25. Ludwig Aberg at 15.10. Hideki Matsuyama at 13.25. Chris Kirk at 12.15. And Matthew Pavon at 10.62.
Mikey, do you know what the PGA Championship is?
No, sir, I don't. Go right ahead. If you have some news on this, go right ahead.
The PGA the PGA Championship this week will be the second tournament this season. We see the one, the only Mr. Tiger Woods.
Well, hopefully he does better than what happened at the Masters.
One can only hope, because that was just so painful to watch.
Indeed, it was. I mean, he's definitely. I still would consider him the GOAT in golf. Not the GOAT overall. I mean, just right now the GOAT in golf. But he's. I definitely don't want to see him in the senior tour. I don't like that idea. That's out there as well. But no. Well, let's see if he can do it. More power to him. We shall definitely see where that goes. All right, the ladies played in the Cognizant Founders Cup in Clifton, New Jersey, and let's bring up this story. Rose Zhang claimed second career victory at Cognizant Founders Cup. This is from LPGA.com, written by LPGA Communications. With 4 birdies in her last 5 holes, Rose Zhang becomes a 2-time LPGA Tour winner at the 2024 Cognizant Founders Cup. The 20-year-old adds another win under her belt in less than a year on the LPGA Tour. In her professional debut and first start as a professional on the LPGA Tour, Zhang won the 2023 Mizuho Americas Open and accepted immediate LPGA Tour membership. Similar to the second and third rounds, Zhang and Madeline Sackstrom put on a clinic, maintaining at least a 10-stroke lead over the field. Zhang started the day just 1 back from Sackstrom and opened her final round with 3 consecutive pars in her first 3 holes. The 2023 rookie carded back-to-back birdies on holes 4 and 5 before remaining quiet through the next 8 holes. She again grabbed a pair of birdies on number 14 and 15, adding a par on the par 4th 16, and another pair of birdies on 17 and 18. And with a final round 66, she finished her run at the Upper Montclair Country Club at 24 under par. Of course, Nelly Korda was trying to go 6 starts in 6 wins. Just didn't happen. Her streak ended at 5. And the ladies, of course, are playing in the CME Globe. Nelly Korda still has the lead at 27.02. Lydia Ko at 11.57. Hannah Green at 10.87. Maya Stark at 9.69. Brooke M. Henderson at 9.28. Ayaka Fiore at 8.08. Roja Zhang is now in the top 10 because of the win at 7.65. Se Young Kim at 7.20. Patty Tavanatanakit at 7.09. And Hairon Ryu at 5.87. Also, some news has broken from LPGA.com that Michelle Wie is making an appearance on The Tonight Show tonight with Jimmy Fallon. And she has announced that she is having a baby boy. It's her second child. So how about that? I don't know why LPGA would give a spoiler for The Tonight Show, but congratulations to Michelle Wie.
Can you imagine winning 5 of your 6 stars? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
That is pure talent.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, Nelly Korda was amazing. I mean, and she's got a very strong lead in the standings there. So I mean, hey, she's definitely now. She's not locked in yet. Things could happen. You never know. She can go on cruise control, but as long as she just does not slam on the brakes, everything should be fine.
Right.
As far as tennis goes, the men and the women are both playing in Rome, in the Rome Open this week. So there's no other tournaments going on for tennis. So before we move on to NASCAR. I do have some boxing news. The press conference and official stare down between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson took place. Now, I don't have images, didn't get that in, but your typical stare down or your face off or weigh in or however you want to call it. If you've ever seen the UFC, they come out, they get on the scale, they flex, they stand nose to nose, face to face. The media gets their picture, and then either one of 3 things happens. Nothing happens, they shake hands, or they start swinging. Mike Tyson playfully started jabbing at Jake Paul's stomach, and he started laughing. And when I saw that, I'm like, bro, if you're taking this as a joke, Jake Paul has a chance. Do not joke with Jake Paul. He may... Go ahead.
What's funny about the whole thing is, even right before they started, so they did the undercard fight first. Well, the other fight that's on the main card, they haven't figured out the undercard yet. The women's fight. When they were announcing the women's wrestlers, Mike Tyson walked out there like he was, okay, it's my time. I guess I'm Amanda, so it's just my time to shine. And his manager had to be like, Mike, no, that's the women. Oh, I'm sorry. That concerns me just a little bit.
That he's taking one too many hooks to the head?
One too many. I mean, the man is training just so hard and so physical.
Indeed.
Jake Paul is young. He's young. Mike's not so young.
I still, after seeing the footage and seeing Tyson laugh it off, my confidence meter has gone down a little bit on Tyson. I still want to be able to report that Tyson knocked out Jake Paul, but I'm down to maybe a 75, almost down to a 60. Before, I was hyping Tyson because he may be old, but I still believe that he can throw a punch and he can knock you out.
Right. And
if Jack Nicklaus can swing a golf club, if Derek Jeter can still swing a baseball bat, if John McEnroe can still swing a tennis racket, they can still play, they can still perform. It's dangerous.
Yeah. I like the fact that they made they actually sanctioned this fight. The WBC, like, this is real, this is legit, this is the real deal. This ain't no play match. This is real that goes on both records.
Oh yeah, it's as real as it gets, and it's sanctioned. Also, I did hear a report from Dana White that said the possibility of pay-per-views going back to Sundays might be a thing.
Yep.
I need to look more into that, but I mean, it's the weekend either way. I mean, I used to love the Sunday pay-per-views, but I'm okay with Saturdays as well. So need to look into that one a little bit more, but not much has been happening in the UFC. You got to talk to Walter Cruz on that one. Walter's the new UFC guy when it comes to the multiverse of media. Anyway,
speaking of the whole media shuffle thing,
yeah,
like Power Slap will go to Friday, UFC Saturday, WWE.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah,
but it's all part of this whole brand new merger between Fox, ESPN, and Disney and Warner Brothers. They're merging into one streaming service called All-in-One Sports.
Interesting.
And the only
there's no secret, how I feel about power slapping. That is one of the scariest sports ever that I have actually witnessed on video. I mean, if you think a punch is bad, people are getting knocked out with just a slap, and if they miss, they could blow your eardrum out. They could bust your eye socket. Losing a tooth, well, that happens. But I mean, and then the ladies get up and they do it, and they look good. The ladies are beautiful. I get that. But when they slap the hell out of each other, I don't want to mess with any of them. I've been slapped before many times, and trust me, it's that ain't nothing to what these guys and gals are doing.
So I got a question.
Go ahead.
With Fox and Warner Brothers and Disney like merging into one sports entity for media rights standpoint, what does that do for the channels we grew up on? Like,
I got you. It's evolved. It's evolved. That's all it is to it. It's evolved. The channels, for me, golf was always a CBS thing. Tennis was an NBC thing. Monday Night Football, NBC or ABC, depending on which market you were in.
Right.
Fox got a hold of baseball. NBC had basketball. Hockey, I don't remember much being on regular channels.
It was only during like Saturday when they would come on, or Sunday when they come on at like 2:00 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would, I think there was the introduction of maybe Fox Sports West, and I think Bally Sports has it now. And then, and then of course ESPN is doing well with Hockey Night and hockey weekends and all that. But as far as regular hockey games in the regular season, it wasn't until the Stanley Cup playoffs when they would pop in. And I remember, NBC got the rights for that. You wouldn't really see hockey on CBS. You wouldn't see hockey much on ABC until the ESPN banner took it over. So it has evolved. And then, of course, with the streaming sites are taking over everything. And there's just not much that you can do about it, really. I mean, cut the cable, cut the cord, and go with it from there. And then, Fox got a hold of NASCAR. I don't remember NASCAR being anywhere else, or even Formula One being anywhere else.
Right.
Tennis was on CBS for a while, mostly, the big four. But once it all evolved, and you go to your local cable companies or whatever, they have their own channels now. Now there's the golf channel. Now there's NBA TV, NHL TV, MLB TV, NFL Network. All that stuff has finally evolved where, as much as you want to sit in your chair with a beer and a burger, or a hot dog and a Coke, or however you enjoy your stuff, you want that cable network, Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, and you just want to watch the stuff. But if you have to go into all these other channels, it's like it's almost not worth it anymore. Like I say, it's great that the WNBA is on Disney Plus. That's a shocker for me. I mean, who would have thought that Disney Plus would feature sports? I sure as hell didn't.
I think a lot of that has to do with Caitlin.
Possibly so.
Yes.
We shall see. All right, let's continue on, and let's bring up what took place on the track at NASCAR. They were down in Darlington this past weekend, and this, of course, comes from NASCAR.com. The results of the Goodyear 400. Brad Keselowski snaps 110 race drought, scores Darlington victory. Combination of stubbornness and patience paid off handsomely for Brad Keselowski on Sunday, where the driver of the number 6 Rush Fenway Keselowski Racing Ford ended a 110 race winless streak with victory in the Goodyear 400. Keselowski's triumph, which came at the expense of hard luck teammate Chris Buescher and pole winner Tyler Reddick, gave the Ford Dark Horse Mustang its first NASCAR Cup Series victory this season in 13 races, and led to a heated exchange between Buescher and Reddick on pit row after the fact. So your top 10, of course, was Keselowski in the number 6 Ford, followed by Ty Gibbs in his 50 Ford Toyota, and Josh Berry took third in the number 4 Ford. Denny Hamlin fourth in his Toyota, Chase Briscoe in his Ford fifth, William Byron Chevrolet in 6th place, Bubba Wallace in the 23XI Toyota took 7th, Alex Bowman took 8th, Justin Haley took 9th, and Michael McDowell brought out the top 10. As far as the standings, Kyle Larson is still your number 1 driver at 486 points. Not much of a really big change in the standings. However, I did notice this. The racer in 8th, Ryan Blaney, he's 115 points down. Remember, you want to be in the top 16 to go for the NASCAR Cup Championships and the playoffs. So not much stuff happening there. Either way, everybody's doing A-okay. And let's move over to the Xfinity race. And that was let's bring that up on NASCAR.com, the Crown Royal Purple Bag Project 200. Justin Allgaier powers to Xfinity Series win at Darlington. Justin Allgaier finally beat Murphy's Law to the checkered flag. This time there were no bizarre circumstances to keep the driver of the number 7 JR Motorsports Chevrolet out of victory lane, like the late cut tire that deprived Allgaier of a near certain win at Phoenix in the 4th race of the season. After crossing the finish line 3.4 seconds ahead of Austin Hill, Allgaier had his first victory of the season, his third at the Lady in Black at the 24th of his career, tying him with his owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr., for 10th most in NASCAR Xfinity Series history. The rest of the year top 10, Austin Hill took second place in the 21 Chevrolet. Cole Custer in the double-aught Ford took third. Sam Meyer took fourth in his Chevrolet. Eric Almirola fifth in his Toyota. Parker Kligerman in his Chevrolet took sixth. Riley Herbst seventh in his Ford. Jesse Love eighth in his Chevrolet. Sheldon Creed ninth in his Toyota. And Brandon Jones 10th. And as far as the standings, again, still not much of a change. Austin Hill is still your leader. Cole Custer is right on his heels, and Chandler Smith is in the top 3. And the Craftsman Series took place today. Let's bring up that story off of NASCAR.com. And the race was the Buckle Up South Carolina 200. And the story reads, do we have the story? Where's the story? No story. Okay, fine. Ross Chastain and his number 45 Chevrolet won the race. Nicholas Sanchez took second. And Ben Rhodes in the 99 Ford took third. Christian X was fourth. Ty Majeski fifth. Chase Purdy in his 77 Chevrolet took sixth. Colby Howard and Taylor Gray in their Toyotas seventh and eighth. Ty Dillon ninth. And Tanner Gray 10th. Coming up in NASCAR is the All-Star race. That comes up next weekend. So that takes care of NASCAR. And in the UFL, in the USFL conference, the Stallions and the Panthers have clinched their playoff spots. So they are in at 7-0. The Stallions are undefeated. They move on, and they will go up against the Panthers in the USFL side of the playoffs. So the Showboats and the Roughnecks at 1-6, they are done. They're just playing for pride at this point in the season. Birmingham, of course, beat St. Louis 30-26, and Michigan beat DC 22-9. In the XFL conference, St. Louis and San Antonio are tied at 5-2. St. Louis, of course, lost to Birmingham. San Antonio did beat Houston. DC is still in the mix at 3-4, but the Renegades are out at 1-6. And again, there is talk of expansion teams coming to the UFL. Also, coming up tomorrow is the big reveal day for the 2024-2025 NFL season. ESPN, of course, puts together a whole little show, and I believe it starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And let me bring this back up here. So all the teams, of course, will be their schedules will be revealed. They put together these kind of like little mini movies and all that. And
Yep.
So on next week's show, the teams that are mostly involved in the multiverse and on the sports bar, we're not going to go through all 32 teams. That would just take forever. More than likely, we're going to take a look at the Cowboys, the Saints, the Vikings, the Browns, the Lions, and the Steelers, because I believe those are the 6 teams that in the multiverse anyway, those are the ones that everyone, Dory likes the Vikings, Jeff is a Cowboy, the Browns is Josh, you're the Saints. I'm kind of also going to keep an eye on Detroit again this year because I want them to improve even more than they did last year. And for Jeff and Greg Cherry, or Big Baller G and Greg Cherry, that'd be Pittsburgh. So we'll more than likely keep an eye on those 6 teams. And then, of course, when football season starts in September and we kick off season 5, we already know a couple games. We already know that the season is going to kick off with the rematch between the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Yep.
That's going to be a great matchup to see those two go at it again. And it's already been announced that the Cowboys are going to play against the Browns. So that's going to be Josh versus Jeff.
Brady.
If you think Josh versus Jeff, we pick on Mansfield a lot. Love him to death, little brother, all that good stuff. To see their two teams go at it, it would be gold, I think. Where are you going? Sit back down.
Okay, give me a second.
And we have Emmanuel being very funny here. I'll pop this up real quick. JJ must feel disappointed that the Renegades got him. I don't know. You got to remember, JJ is not a big sports guy. You know, he respects sports, but I think it was just a common thing that the Arlington team named themselves Renegades, and he is the Renegade of wrestling. So
how can you leave out the Titans?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm pulling your Tennessee card.
Okay, so we'll swap Detroit out for Tennessee.
No. We like Detroit.
Okay, 7 teams.
I'm going to say this.
I've only lived here for 3 years. How do I forget about the – now I have to go watch Remember the Titans on Disney+.
Whoa. What was that?
Anyway, like I said, it's been a long week. What can I say?
Hold that thought for 1 sec. Oh, well, there's breaking news for you right there.
Oh, now what? Go ahead.
The first game of Monday Night Football will feature Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets against the San Francisco 49ers.
Please, God, keep an eye on Rodgers and let him get through the game. Amen. With the Greek flag cross behind me, that's what I'm asking for right now. Let him get through at least the first quarter, and then he'll be fine. He's been rehabbing all off season and all season. He'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. That's what I think for it, at least anyway. All righty, let's take a look at what's going on in the NBA playoffs. Here are your current standings and scores. The Thunder and the Mavericks are tied at 2. Oklahoma won game 1, 117-95. Dallas then won games 2 and 3, and Oklahoma tied the series at 2-2. The big one, the Nuggets and the Mavericks. The Nuggets and the Wolves, excuse me. The Wolves went into Denver and just dominated and won both games. And my good buddy Stephen A. is like, oh, the Wolves can to take out the Nuggets. The Nuggets win game 3, telling Minnesota that they're not going down without a fight. Stephen A. all bumbles back and I apologize to the NBA champions. And then in game 4, Denver wins again. And now their series is tied 2-2. So the question is, or logic can possibly tell us, if the road team continues this one, because game 5 is in Denver, game 6 is in Minnesota, and game 7 is back in Denver, by that very simple logic, Minnesota should win the series. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. It could be a bad game for somebody. And let me praise Anthony Edwards. In game 3, as you can see, the Wolves only got 90 points. And he was very upset at himself. And he, when he was being interviewed by the media, he's like, that falls on me. He's only 22 years old, and he is already taking the bullet for that. He came back in game 4, and even though the Wolves lost, he put up insane amount of numbers. I think he almost did 40 points in that game.
Yep.
Think of the bet I could have put on that. I'm trying to erase FanDuel out of my memory banks right now. The kid is amazing. This guy, it's going to be a great series. I want to see that series go the full 7. Boston can close out Cleveland. They're up 3-1. The Knicks and the Pacers are tied at 2. And let me get a quick update here and see what's going on in the NBA. Okay, games don't start for another 20 minutes or so. Indiana and New York are on. They have game 5, and then the Wolves and the Nuggets play at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. And I think the game has started for Caitlin Clark now. I believe
Yes,
tip-off. Yeah, that game has already started. So we'll keep an eye on that intermittently. All right, let's move on to the PWHL. The playoffs have started. The 4 teams are Toronto, Minnesota, Montreal, and Boston. The series between Toronto and Minnesota, Toronto is up 2-1. Toronto shut out Minnesota in game 1. They won 4, and they shut them out again in game 2. Minnesota came back in game 3. It's a 5-game series. Game 4 is tomorrow between these 2 teams. If Toronto wins, they will eliminate Minnesota. Boston and Montreal, they've only gone 2 games. So if Boston wins game 3, that game has started. So if Boston wins, they eliminate Montreal. And last but not least, the NHL playoffs are continuing on. The Panthers can take out the Bruins. I believe that game is tonight. Let me quickly bring up what's going on in the NHL. Boston is already up 1-0 at 3:42 left in the first, and that is game 5. So Boston is facing elimination, but right now they're up. The other game is the Battle of Canada with the Canucks and the Oilers. The Canucks are up 2-1. They started the game late. Colorado and Dallas, they're going to game 5. I believe that tomorrow. And the Rangers and the Hurricanes are going to go to. And I did not update that. That is wrong there on that, but that's okay.
They're going to game 6 Thursday.
Yep. So, like I said, it's been a tough week, and hey, things happen. Anywho, so let's get rid of that. Whoop, no, get rid of that. There we go. So that pretty much covers everything, unless there's let's see. I saw that Lillian Garcia came back to Monday Night Raw for
goosebumps. Utter goosebumps when that her voice just gives you goosebumps.
And I think I know what Emmanuel is talking about. An incident at the end of the Oilers game. Let's see. Let me confirm that real quick. Brad Marchand is not in. Emmanuel, if you could be just a little bit more specific, and I can talk about this. Which incident are you talking about? If you're talking about Nanuchkin, that's a different topic. So can you just be a little more specific on that, please? And let me, because we're pretty much done. But yeah, goosebumps for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
The stick to the throat. Oh, yeah, that is definitely. Oh, at least it was the stick and not the skate. But wow. Yeah, I mean, hey, but things happen on that.
So a quick update while we're, talking. They're in the first TV commercial break. The Connecticut Sun lead the Indiana Fever 10-7. Caitlin Clark is 0 for 5 and already has 2 fouls.
Okay, let's call that jitters.
Yes.
She's excited. Okay. She's excited. She's ready to go. You don't. I'm not going to say it's Connor Bedard syndrome, but
no, hey, don't you do that.
I'm not. Okay,
don't do that to me again.
It's a 1 game out of 40. I'll give her 6 or 7 games before I start worrying.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
Yeah, yes, I did. And you know what I'm going to do after that? Heck, I'll play producer guy on my own show right now. You know what I'm going to bring up, so why not?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Mikey!
There you go. I can call myself out half the time. Anyway.
So, Mikey, what do you want to talk about?
What do I want to? Well, I really don't know what I want to talk about. And since we really much talked about everything, I say we shut it down, we shoot for next week, and we just watch sports. What do you think?
Amen.
Sounds like a plan, right? So next week, team reveals for schedules of 7 teams, not 6. Keep an eye out for that. Of course, follow us on social media, on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and all that. And hopefully I'll be able to report that my car is A-okay, because once that gets taken care of, I focus, recenter, and get the job done right, because that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Things happen, but we get through it, and that's all that matters. So until next week, remember, use the hashtag StatBoyApproved and StatGirlApproved for Dory Lou. If you have a news story, tag us in it, and it'll easily come up. Be good to each other. I love you all. Statboy out.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports